When we get to heaven, just as Sue has, we will know this in actuality and not just in and through faith in Jesus, although that is our gateway in. Jesus has prepared a place for those of us who love him, trust him, and obey him as King. Our King is waiting for us. He's expecting us, wanting to lavish his love upon us. We know he loves us now, but that is only in part. When we are with him, we shall have the full picture of Jesus. Jesus is with us now in spirit on this earth, but then we shall be with him physically and face to face. Heaven is a prepared place of majestic beauty. John portrays his visions for us, building up layer upon layer of words as a painter painting a painting, laying on the colours layer upon layer until finally the painting is finished. Heaven is a prepared place. It's a pure place. We know Sue suffered physically here, but we also know that she is no longer suffering. I can imagine her running and jumping, causing holy mischief and being the Sue we knew, but even more so. Sue now has a perfect body and is in full health. Just as Sue suffered, so do we in all kinds of ways. Look at verse 4. God will wipe away our tears. Not only tears of suffering, but also tears of joy. There will be no more death, no more sorrow, no more crying, no more pain, for former things are passed away. Take that verse to heart. What a glorious day it will be for those of us who love him now. God himself, with our face in his hands, wiping away our tears. I can imagine God taking Sue's face in his hands and wiping away her tears. Tears of joy and tears of sorrow. It will be a place where we will live the fruit of the Spirit eternally, a place where love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control are permanent and universal. That's part of our King's manifesto. What a day that will be. We will enter those gates thanking Jesus, looking back at how we suffered, not only medically but also for his sake under persecution. We'll be able to say with Jeremiah and John, it was worth it all. The sufferings I endured and overcame for the sake of Jesus was all worth it, so as to be here eternally and living with King. Again, I can imagine Sue saying that now. And lastly, we enter through giant gates of pearl. Do you know how a pearl is formed? When an oyster gets an irritating grain of sand within its shell, it covers the grain of sand over with layers of mother of pearl until the irritation and the suffering is no longer felt. Now, what do you think the suffering was that created those giant pearls that are the gates? I think they are to remind us of the cross and the suffering and pain that Jesus endured. That's what we celebrate at Easter. The very gates of heaven tell us that it is only through the cross that we get to pass through and enjoy heaven in worship and service of God. That was Sue's hope. Sue's hope was in the cross of Jesus to enjoy heaven in worship and service of God. That's only through the pain, the agony, and the suffering that Jesus endured, culminating in his death as he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Our King himself has suffered for us, so that Sue, as well as you and I, may enjoy his company forever and ever, as we trust and obey him now and place our faith in him while we are in this our temporal home on earth. We know in part now, but then we will know in full. And Sue didn't enter heaven because she was Australian, although like most Australian Christians, I would consider that a very close-run thing, let me tell you. No, our Sue only entered heaven, her new home, through the cross of Jesus Christ. I look forward to seeing her again one day in the presence of Jesus Christ. We yearn to be with our King forever and ever, don't we? I know I do. I've died twice and been sent back twice. As I said to someone earlier this week, I'm jealous that she got there before me. I've been sent back. And yet we are to keep one part of our mind on heaven and the other on the responsible work we have been left to do here on earth. We are not to be so heavenly minded that we are of no earthly use. And conversely, we are not to be so earthbound that we are not tied to King Jesus in our eternal home. Wow.